Hey, it's Pete Blakemore, and good morning. It's Monday morning, and I'm going to make a very brief video about how to do one of the more difficult things in the course templates that were set up for you. This is how to add group discussion, the small group discussion. And so here we are on our dashboard, and let's just go to the Keep Teaching site, kind of send everybody there who I'm talking to, and then obviously read through this if you haven't done it yet, and then go to the modules, open your modules, and here's where we talk about the course pre-made course templates. So just go right down there in the Start Here module, click on that. And just a brief note of caution, I think a few people have thought that they could download these templates from these two. These two links are only there to give you a sense of what it looks like. These don't belong to you, they belong to me right at the current moment, and I'm the only one who can really work with them inside. So you have to copy the template into your own Canvas site in order to start working with it as an instructor. But let's just take a look at this first one about writing assignments, and this should be a good enough place for us to look at so you can understand how the small group reading discussions work. Let's open that up, click on that, and we open it right up. And then this is what you're going to see. So the first way to manipulate this, obviously the stuff in yellow is stuff there written there for you. This is an example of the kind of thing that I use to prime the discussion. And here you go. These are the different groups. You'll have different students in each of these groups, and that's kind of the idea behind this. And you're going to be able to manipulate this. You can get rid of the discussions, you can call them something else, you can change them, or you can leave them as they are and populate them with students yourselves. I believe Canvas will randomly assign them into the discussion groups if you ask them to do that as well. I know that's how I do it in my classes, but I'm not sure with this template whether that's going to automatically happen when you open it up, whether your students will automatically be randomly assigned. So let's talk about how you would do that otherwise. First of all, here's the editing. Hit that edit button, and that will allow you to change the name of it. If you want to customize this for yourself, you could add an image here. You can add, this is the place to start customizing. What I did was I set it up in the way that I use it most often, which is I allow thread replies. That gives people the opportunity to see who's responding directly to them or whether they're talking to a different thread, even though they'll all be looking at one another and scrolling down through the whole small group discussion. I have students needing to post before they can see the initial replies. They can go back in then and start reading through it after they make their initial post. And I also grade them. In this case, this is for my online class. This was set up. You might not want to. You might want to just have an overall participation grade that you give at the end of the semester based on your sense of them, but you can also just give them a grade, and we'll talk in a different video about grading a rubric. This is also the place where you would make things available to the students and change the dates and talk about when it was due and the rest of that. And I'm personally going to be going a little bit softer on this stuff, and maybe I'll make it due a little bit later, so in case people are having trouble navigating all of this. And obviously I'm going to try to make everything available starting now, and make it available until after our finals week is done, so that I can read some of these afterwards if I have to. I get backed up a little bit. Anyway, the other way to function in here is to go to people. Now, so if you'd make any changes in this section, and this is set up as a, there's where I named it and where I gave it the designation for the random selection of students to be randomly distributed into the 5 different group discussions. You may only want 4 small groups. You may want 3 if your class is really small and you want 4 people together, and you have it listed as 5 group discussions, and you had 12 students in your class. Some of those are only going to have 2 people. So that's something else for you to think about. To go in and manipulate this, we click on people. And it's going to ask me if I want to leave the page, and I could have canceled that last one. And here, when you see into people, this is where you see all the groups are made. Okay, and so if we want to do the small group discussion, we click on week 9 small group discussion, and then boom, you see there are the 5 different discussion groups, and they have 0 students in them now because this class doesn't have any students in it yet. So when you have your class set up, you will see the names of all your students here. Probably the easiest thing to do, if that haven't automatically been randomly distributed into these courses, is to just take them and move them into the discussions one by one by one. So that's one way that you could do it, and that's the way that you can set up the small group discussion so that different students are participating with one another on a single basis in those smaller groups.